Good morning, everybody. It is Friday morning and it is Fun Funnel Friday. I did this weird thing where I decided that I wanted to be muted when I enter into a meeting, and it has screwed me up every single time I've jumped on Zoom this week. At any rate, if you received our email and you're here with us today, the title of the email is By Invitation Only, and hopefully that intrigued you to come see Fun Funnel Friday today. What we are talking about today is 2 ways that I saw this week that I thought were really cool ways to create urgency for your evergreen funnels. So I'm just going to take a couple of seconds and make sure that we are live in the right place, because Facebook, and also there's a lot of pages and a lot of groups, and I went live in the wrong group last week, which is so fun. Okay, great. If you are live with me, comment live. I see we've got a couple people here this morning, which is super cool. I'm going to try and send out emails so that people actually join me live, because it's more fun when I know people are watching. All right, 2 ways that I saw how to create urgency for your evergreen funnels. The first way works, in my opinion, really well for a membership, and this is how I saw it used. It could also work for courses that you typically don't sell, like maybe you do a launch every so many months or something like that, or maybe you do a launch once a year, but you also want to be making some sort of evergreen revenue from it. So it could work well for that as well. But the way that I saw this used was for a membership. So recently I was working on a client's funnel doing some redesigning, and she has a membership for preschool teachers, I think, to get monthly access to some preschool materials. So typically she launches this membership once a year, and it's usually around school time, which makes the most sense, right? But she wanted to make some sort of evergreen income from this membership as well, because throughout the year, people tend to drop off, and you want to try and replenish your membership throughout the year so that you're making that recurring income every month. So how she does this is by invitation only. And this is the theme for today's live. It was the email that you guys received today, by invitation only. So how does she do this? She has a sales page, and instead of the sales page having a cart or a checkout or something like that, there's an opt-in, and the opt-in says something to the effect of, would you like an invitation? And so they enter in their name and email address to receive an invitation. So name, email address, they hit enter. So it's like the full sales page, but with opt-in boxes. It's very similar to like a wait list, but instead of saying, would you like to be notified when we open the doors, it says, would you like an invitation? Yeah. So who wouldn't want an invitation into something, right? Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be an invitation right now. It can be an invitation in the future. But of course, when given the opportunity, we want an invitation to things. So I thought that was so clever. Enter in your name and email address. And the next step of the funnel is, hooray, we have a spot for you. Shocker. If you are in marketing, you're like, okay, I know what's going on. But if you're not in marketing, you might get excited by this. So it's the next page says, we have a spot for you, but we can only hold it for 72 hours, and thus starts the clock ticking. So you can do this with deadline funnel is probably the most authentic way to take care of this. Because once somebody enters in their name and email address through deadline funnel, you can put a webhook inside of their client record, and then the clocks sync up essentially. So if it's 3 days from now to get into the doors, it's 3 days always, right? And then you put deadline funnel on all of your pages. So there's a button on that middle bridge page that says join now. So you can go straight to the sales page, and there's a countdown timer on the sales page. There's a countdown timer on the bridge page. So you can go right to the sales page, which is basically the same thing, but with the payment blocks. So now people have the opportunity to choose their membership level. You can do the same thing for courses like that you don't open but once a year, but you want to do them evergreen style. So instead of a waitlist page, you can say, would you like a special invitation? We'll see if we have a spot for you. When they enter in their name and email address, then thus starts the clock for them, and they have 72 hours to join. There's also follow-up email sequences. So I tested this funnel the other day, and I'm receiving follow-up emails that basically have the countdown. So if you're using deadline timer or deadline funnel, you can integrate those timers inside of your email sequence that sync up with their client record. And so now everything matches. They click through the funnel, they see the timer on the sales page matches the timer in their email. And so they know that like, this is legit. At the end of the 72 hours, my time is up. So super cool. It says this particular client says this converts really well for them. They also do a major launch every year around school time, which makes sense, right? Because all the preschool teachers are going back to school and they want material or whatever throughout the year, so they don't have to think too hard. I know I would want that if I were a preschool teacher, but throughout the year, they would like to enroll people into the membership. And this is how they found that works for them. So, super fun. I have seen this in the past, but kind of forgot about it until I saw it again this week. I think it's a neat strategy to try. And like all strategies, you know, your audience and your offer are different than everybody else's. So try, see what feels good, and go from there. If this works for you, fantastic. If you try this out, I would love to know what the results are, whether or not it worked for you or totally flopped or whatever. One of the like weird caveats that I could see is somebody who's a little bit jaded that is like, oh, I would have gotten a spot no matter what, you know, but like haters gonna hate, right? Like, what are you gonna do? If it works for you like 70% of the time, then who cares about the other like 30% of haters that may or may not comment on that or something like that. How do people find this like invitation only page? Probably on your website. You could possibly talk about it like on social media or whatnot, but it's kind of like a backdoor way. Like you could integrate it into your email sequence. Make sure you get your special invitation or something like that inside of your email. Like you can do it in the PSs or whatever. So that's how you could use that. So that's way number one. Way number two, I saw recently, somebody shared with me a couple of days ago that I thought was really cool. And it utilizes a quiz. I'm going to see if I can pull up the website for this one, because this is not a funnel I am even remotely associated with, but I thought was really cool. Huntakiller.com. So this is a game, like a subscription box for like a game subscription box. So on the website, this is on my phone, but let me see if I can pull up the website and see if it'll be the same thing. Yes. Okay. I'm gonna share my screen right quick. Okay, so this is the website I thought was really neat. On the landing page, it says detectives needed, and then private investigator Michelle Gray needs your help to solve a cold case, sort through the evidence, decode ciphers, piece together clues, and solve the crime. It's like an escape room delivered to your door every month. So this is a subscription box that they sell. see if you qualify. So instead of a call to action that's like learn more or join now or get the box or whatever, it says see if you qualify. And here's where it takes you, which I thought was a very clever use of a quiz. So they're using Typeform. So it's not even like it's not a quiz platform like Try Interact or whatever. It's literally a Typeform. So anybody can do this, right? So do you have what it takes to be a detective? And it just goes through a series of questions. Do you love mysteries and true crime? Yes or no? Now, I took this quiz and I purposefully answered these questions to disqualify me. And of course, I still qualify, right? So it asks you a series of questions. I guarantee that it does not matter what your answer is. So what's my name? What's my city? What's my email address? And submit. And then the thank you page of this Typeform redirects me back to their website. Ever so slowly. do, 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 do. Well, apparently my internet wants to be super slow. But where it takes me back to, I did this before, it takes me back to their subscription options. For like, you can do one-time box, like monthly box or like a yearly box. And then there's, all kinds of things that go with it. And then after that, I get a series of emails that go along with it that invite me into. So I thought this was such a clever use of a quiz and a way to get like an opt-in name and email address. So now I'm getting their emails, they're like not necessarily spamming me, but like I got my, you qualify, your whatever email, even though I clearly, answered the questions in a way that would what I would consider disqualify me. So how can you use a quiz or a Typeform or something like that integrated into your pages to see if people qualify, or at least give them the sense that they may or may not qualify to be a detective or to be a part of your community or to buy, whatever the thing is or that you are selling, right? I'm gonna see if I can get back to their website. Huntakiller.com. I thought that was super clever. So 2 ways that you can create urgency. So through this particular way, it was a quiz to see if you even qualified to get, be a detective or get their subscription boxes or something like that. So that, might give somebody this sense of like, oh, I want to belong. We all want to belong, right? So giving everybody this urgency in that way. And that would be a way to activate internal urgency. So on Tuesday for our podcast, we talked about the power of urgency and internal and external urgency. So the first way we talked about, which is by invitation only, and then through a 72-hour invitation, that is activating external urgency. So that means that it is outside of the user's control. They got the invitation. So they requested the invitation, they got the invitation, and now the invitation expires in 72 hours. So that is external urgency. Through this quiz, trying to decipher whether or not you qualify to be a detective. So that is activating internal urgency, because we all want to, as human beings, we all want to know more about ourselves. We all want to belong in some way, shape, or form. And so by doing a little quiz like that to see if they qualify or to you can use quizzes for all kinds of things. See what their personality type is, what is the best like course of action for them to take or whatever. Once they take that quiz, now that we know this thing about ourselves, we usually want to pursue it. So that would be internal urgency, how they're activating internal urgency. Super fun. Love it. If you guys have any questions, or if you utilize any of these strategies that we talked about today, I would love to know how they work for you. I think that we're going to possibly look into implementing a quiz ourselves, because quizzes are hot and people like to know about themselves. So we may look into doing that in the future as well. So look out for that. All right. Fun ways to create urgency for your evergreen funnel. 2 ways. Try them out and let me know how it goes. I see a few people on right now that I will be seeing in just 10 minutes. So have an amazing weekend, guys, and we'll see you next week for Fun Funnel Friday.